Hello, 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 hello. Everybody's getting the party started. Happy Close the Kitchen. It's Monday night. Is this our second to last Close the Kitchen of 2020? I wonder how many we've done. So if you're new to Close the Kitchen, welcome. If you're not new to Close the Kitchen, welcome. So happy to see you. So happy to be here. Hi, Siobhan. Getting my Instagram live because I can really never get it together. So, hi. So good to see everybody. Happy to be here. Happy to be talking about such an important topic tonight. Anyway, my name is Molly Carmel. Hi, Carson, love of my life. And I am here fiercely devoted to your freedom and like loving you up like it's nobody's business. So here's what we need to talk about. So great to see all of you. I'm so glad everybody's arriving. The whole gang's all here. So we have this beautiful Facebook group called Breaking Up with Sugar. And it's amazing. You should come join it. And I have just been reading a lot of the posts. And listen, it makes sense. We're in a very tricky time of year, right? First, we have Bermuda Triangle. We're moving towards the last of the Bermuda Triangle. We're moving into the Christmas. And listen, loves, it's a tricky one this year, right? It's super, super tricky because it's like not normal. Some of us are spending time with our family, and that's tricky. Some of us aren't spending time with our family, and that's tricky. And I think the like COVID exhaustion's getting to us. If you're on the East Coast, it's very cold out. My goddaughter Carson on Instagram is not on the East Coast. Anyway, just life is at its kind of lifeiest. Hi, Charlene. Life is just like it's at a lifey point, I think is the point. And so, we've been talking about these very tangible, actionable skills that we want to use to help pass the time. And I saved the best for last. Now, pinky swear on this. There's no eye rolling at what I'm about to suggest. Oh my gosh. My two favorite people, my two goddaughters are coming on this. This is just so exciting. So we got a pinky swear on this. We must. Here's the deal. Jesse, this is the best moment of my week too. Samesies. No rolling your eyes at what I'm about to talk about. Here's the deal. We must be talking about perception. I've heard in so many of my spiritual circles that addiction is such a disease of perception. Like our lenses on our glasses can get blurred really quickly so that what we're looking at becomes very blurred. So that's what I'm reading in the Facebook group. There's just a lot of struggle. Perception means, great question over on Instagram. Perception means the way that you look at things, right? It's the lenses in which you look at life. And we can sort of look at life in lots of different ways. My favorite quote, which is what Close the Kitchen is based on tonight, is when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. This is like really where gratitude comes in. I'm not going to get too into gratitude tonight, even though I probably will. But the point is, I know Dee is like, especially when I have my mask on, I know it's like we can like forget our gratitude. We can forget that we have choices like so quickly, like it's bonkers. Like, and here's what I know. I just want to tell you something. It's not just like, I do this, like I fall into these traps so easily. So my loves, I'm with you. The thing is, if you can be aware that when you get vulnerable, and listen, this is just such a vulnerable time, that one of the first things that happens is that your lenses start to get a little bit blurred, then guess what we can do? Get right back to it. There's been a lot, I've been on Instagram a lot. Whatever, don't judge me. But I've been reading a lot about this idea of like a gratitude bypass. And so I want you to hear what I'm about to say. This is a very, very, very important thing I'm going to tell you. I'm not saying you're not allowed to be having hard feelings, like quite the opposite. Oh, Quinny, I miss you too. Like quite the opposite. I'm not saying we're not allowed to be sad and heartbroken and overwhelmed and scared and all of these incredible feelings that are so important and they're so informative. In fact, having feelings keeps us from, feeding our feelings. And so it's a really, really important part of this. It's just that we need to have our feelings and make sure that our feelings aren't influencing our larger perception of life, which, by the way, can turn us to our unhealthy food behaviors, or even just yelling at our family, or even just isolating ourselves when we need to be connecting with others. And so it's such an important thing to be keeping your eye on how you're feeling and what your perception is looking like. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And so I write this sweet email every Sunday. If you want to sign up for it, you can go to mollycarmel.com, easy peasy lemon squeezy. But I talked about 3 ways that we can really work on our perception. I'm going to tell you 3 ways because a lot of times people don't like some of my ways. Do you know what I mean? So here's the deal. Thank you. Thank you. I'm getting a lot of compliments on my sweater. I like a little winter white. It's my thing. Little winter white really, I think does my perception good. So listen, the first perception change that we want to make, I love this one because it's we can find meaning even in the hardest times, right? We can find meaning even in the hardest times. I don't know if anybody ever read the book. Oh my gosh, I can't remember it. Oh, Man's Search for Meaning. It's by Viktor Frankl. What a great time to read that book, by the way. We can really get into this idea that we're not alone in our suffering. This is what happens for me. I'll get into a place where I feel really lonely. I feel really isolated. I feel sad. I mean, these are normal human emotions, especially during this time of year. And one of the first things I'll think of is because those feelings can really isolate you, right? They can make you feel completely alone, so hopeless. Marsha Linehan, one of my favorite teachers, she says this beautiful quote, "Hopelessness is a distorted view of the future." I love that one. And so when those feelings can really make you feel alone, sometimes it can be a really helpful perception switch to think about that other people are having these feelings along with you. Other people are having the same feelings along with you. It's a very powerful way to do it, right? Another way to change your perception when you're in the middle of a hard, and I really want to say that because my family was just talking about these friends of our family who aren't going to be together for the holiday, and I said, maybe this wasn't so validating, but I said, well, Ryan Reynolds was just posting on Instagram that he was having the same problem. Stars are just like us, but it's true. There's going to be a lot of people this Christmas feeling really lonely or feeling really guilty or feeling really overwhelmed. You're never alone in your feeling. You're not the only one that's ever had it. You're not the only one that's ever going to have it. My real favorite thing during hard times is this particular one. Thinking about how overcoming the struggle that you're in is going to help somebody else, right? So being able to create meaning through hard times. I was thinking, I don't know if you guys remember this, but in the beginning of COVID, I had a little blip of my food and weight stuff. I started snacking too much and I had to go get some outside help with Nikki. I don't know if you guys remember this. Anyway, if you're new, you don't remember it at all, and one of the things I was thinking about when I was going through that was how I was going to teach me something, as struggles do, and how I was going to be able to share that with my community, with you guys. And I know that because I've had a lot of struggles and I've overcome a lot of struggles, and I've seen how overcoming these struggles has been really helpful when I'm connected to others. And so if you can get there, it's a great way to be able to overcome hard times, is to be thinking, maybe what I'm going through can help somebody else sometime. You see how, like, when we're going through a really hard time, it can totally mess with our lenses. Or as I love Dia said over here, it can put a mask on us and we can be like, okay, it's over. I need to go binge my brains out, right? But that's what I'm saying the exact opposite of that. I'm saying a hard time comes along. You want to isolate. You want to get, into that bubble, but instead you do quite the opposite. And you say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to get through this to the best of my ability, probably pretty imperfectly if you're anything like me. But at the end of it, I'm going to have a hopeful story to tell somebody else. Isn't that just the meaning of life? Isn't that just the meaning of life, my loves, right? I don't know if you're into me, like if you're like a friend of me, like it's basically my entire relationship with you is really that my struggle has become, hope for others. And you can do that too. It's a powerful, powerful, powerful thing. Okay. So a lot of people at this point, remember I told you no rolling your eyes. A lot of people are like, clearly you don't understand how hard my pain is. I don't want to be helping others with it. I don't want to be thinking of other people doing it. Okay. I got it. Although if you could open your mind for one hot second, these are incredible skills. So maybe just like write them down on like a piece of paper and then maybe look at them later. I'm just saying, because like I'm very into these skills and they work because they're evidence-based, because they're from DBT. But here's a really, really good one. And it's a great one as we go into the new year, when we're thinking intention, when we're thinking, oh, who do I want to be? How do I want to be? And I think also when we're getting really hard on ourselves, when we're getting really, I don't know if anybody ever does that. If anybody's ever really hard on themselves, I know I can be. The best comparison you can ever make is yourself to yourself. The best comparison you can ever make is yourself to yourself. Now, you may be like, yeah, well, I'm just struggling with the food today like I was yesterday. Let's find a different perception on that, shall we? Anybody who is watching a video of a crazy, curly-haired, winter white girl talking to them for a minute about how to get better is doing better today than they were doing yesterday. The idea that you're even making an attempt to try to turn your mind is more than you were doing a year ago. I promise you that. I promise you that. And the thing is, yes, intention is prevention. Get it, D. Woo, yes. I think when you live in that brain space, life becomes a little bit easier. And I'm not saying life is easy. I'm saying life gets easier. So when you're living in this idea of like, wow, maybe I am doing better today than I am yesterday, it's like all of a sudden the heart opens a little bit. All of a sudden the palms open a little bit. All of a sudden the vision opens a little bit. And let me tell you something, a pinky swear to you on this, that's all you need. Listen, big, huge cures are amazing, but you really only need, as they say, a little mustard seed of hope to get it going sometimes, because all you need is one step and then one step, right? So it's okay. Like, wow, at least I looked at the video. Okay. Or maybe then I can call a friend. And then after that, maybe I can just go wash my face. And then, oh my gosh, it's 9:30. Maybe I can go to bed without harming myself with food. And then you have one day. And then one day becomes a day and a half, becomes a day and 3/4, becomes 2 days, becomes 3 days, becomes 4 days. And that, I think, is the point of all of this. One more thing before I go, which I might talk about this more next week. But the other thing that happens when we get cloudy perception is that we forget that we have choices and we turn into a victim. And victims forget that they have choices. And so I've read a lot on our Facebook page about how, like, I can't eat this and I have to eat this. And that is diet mentality that puts a noose around your neck that gets you so close to food. OMG. No. You choose. Everything you do is a choice. Every single thing you do is a choice. It may not feel like a choice because you may be out of choices, but you're still making a choice. And even having that perspective and that perception changes how you look at things. And then we repeat that over and over and over again. Remember, A belief is just a thought we've had a whole lot of times. And so a lot of the work that we have to do in our new relationship with food and ourselves is repeating our new thinking patterns. This is a new thinking pattern, right? And it's about making sure that you aren't looking out of fogged lenses. Get yourself a little glasses cleaner. Like me, I'm like your glasses cleaner tonight. So think about that, my loves. What can you do in the name of changing your perception? I've given you a lot of tangible skills. It's a daily practice. Sometimes it's a multiple day practice. Sometimes I need to like call somebody and get help with my perception. Sometimes I forgot this one, you know, and sometimes I need to think of the little things that I have that other people don't, like a computer, like a phone, like a choice to eat Ezekiel bread. You know, we have things in this world, especially right now, that so many people don't have. My friend Sherry, she's like the most grateful person I ever met. She's like, I'm just grateful for my toenails sometimes. And little bits lead to bigger bits, lead to bigger bits. And so we'll remember that. So anyway, my loves, we are going to close the kitchen. It's a small team tonight. So let's get our hands on our hearts. Love you all. Love you all. It's a beautiful time tonight. Love you all. So who is closing the kitchen? Let us see. Let us see. And just a reminder, we're going to be doing this next week. We're going to be closing out 2020 together. And if you haven't gotten on the email list, go to mollycarmel.com. It's an exciting, I just write you a love letter every Sunday. So Josh has closed the kitchen. Susie's closed the kitchen. Amazing. Randy's closed the kitchen. Amazing. Amazing. Anyone else closing the kitchen tonight? Yeah, Adriana, great job. Crystal's closed it at 5:30. Amazing. Yeah, Siobhan, get it, girl. Jessie, woohoo. Get it, get it, get it. Anne's closed the kitchen. Lisa, closed the kitchen. Amazing. Hands on our heart. Yeah, Kristen, amazing, amazing. Yeah, Gail, yeah, close the kitchen. Dia's closing in 20 minutes when she's on her way home. Fabulous, fabulous. All right, my loves, listen, we'll do it again next week. Remember, if nobody's told you that they love you today, if you're in the Baking Up a Sugar group, I've already told you I love you today, but I'm going to tell you one more time. Love you so much. You're an incredible group of warriors. Just showing up counts. Let that add to your perception of who you are and what you're doing here. You are amazing. And if no one's told you that today, I've told you that too. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.